And the Women's March came under fire earlier this week for accepting the New Wave Feminists, a pro-life group, as an official partner for the event. After massive online backlash, March organizers cut ties with the group and announced that their platform is, quote, pro-choice and has been from day one. I want to bring in Aimee Murphy, Executive Director of Life Matters Journal. Aimee, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it.
I'm glad to be with you, Kristen.
So what was your reaction to that? You identify as a pro-life feminist. You wrote about it in the Washington Post. So explain what happened to you.
So back in November, when it was first announced that the Women's March was going to be happening, our team of consistent life ethic feminists came together and we said, hey, how can we participate? How can we support this? Because at the time, there was no mention of abortion whatsoever in their platform. Their core principles included your support for human dignity, included Kingian nonviolence. So we absolutely stood by that and started planning for it right away. Then in early January, actually the 13th, New Wave Feminists had been approved to be an event partner, but right after that happened, they announced officially that abortion was going to be part of their platform, part of their, principles. And shortly thereafter, Twitter blew up, and New Wave Feminists was removed without even letting Destiny of New Wave Feminists know.
And I wonder, because the criticism and the counter-argument that you can imagine is people saying, look, pro-life beliefs and feminism and fighting for these rights, fighting to keep women's rights, are in some ways contradictory. What would you say to that?
I absolutely stand by the principle that women's rights are human rights. We just believe in human rights for all human beings. We believe in extending this philosophy of nonviolence towards all human beings, regardless of age, ability, circumstance. So that includes the preborn from our perspective.
And just to be clear, you do still expect to march, correct? You're still planning to turn out? And what's your message going to be? How does it fit into this broader context today?
Most of us as pro-life feminists had a lot of trepidation and a lot of fear about Donald Trump, during the campaign season and even up to the election. I know most of us pro-life feminists did not support Donald Trump in the election because a lot of what he has said and done indicates an underlying disregard for the inherent dignity of human beings. It's not consistent with pro-life principles. So we're out there standing up against Donald Trump's xenophobic, misogynistic, and frankly hateful rhetoric.
And are you still opposed to him? I mean, did he say anything yesterday in that inaugural address, or has he done anything during his transition period to change your perspective on how you feel?
Honestly, no. And I'm going to probably remain skeptical unless he really indicates a solid change of heart.
And we've been talking about this throughout the day. I mean, what happens after today? Because one of the first actions that President Trump took yesterday was to direct agencies and to give them more leeway in terms of implementing some of the provisions of Obamacare. And there's a lot of concern that that is going to specifically target women's health, target funding for Planned Parenthood. So I guess, what do you make of that, and what do you do after today to not let what you're fighting for sort of fall by the wayside?
I think we need to stand up, reach out to our legislators and let them know that, healthcare is indeed a part of what we're fighting for. We're just fighting for nonviolent healthcare solutions. We want to make sure that there is no gap, in coverage, that people don't fall through the cracks. But we also want to ensure that there is a consistent respect for human lives at play here. So I think holding our legislators accountable and really making our voices heard in support of both, women's rights in terms of paid family leave, in terms of health care, things of that nature, but also, I guess, really working to improve conditions on a more grassroots local level where our voices can be more amplified.
All right, Aimee Murphy, thank you so much for coming on to share your perspective. Good luck today and be safe. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.